there comes a certain point where you say creatively, when you do so many things and you're good at a lot of things, I'm sure you're very similar. Yeah? That's, when you're good at so many things, not everything, but the things you know, you really know. Yeah. And you have confidence in that. As much as I love what I do, and I love to see what I can do for a woman, I mean, on the outside in, what I could give her is amazing. But having said that, there's another side of me that doesn't want to stop. I talk myself into doing something conventional, meaning I am the creative and I will do X. Yeah. I will take all my energies and put it all together and I will do just that. And now I did it, but I'm missing like time to write another book. I want to go back on the runway as Dianne Brill, which I can be as old as young or whatever I want. I can do that as Dianne Brill. I want to do more TV again. I want to start doing like reports on the morning shows and come on and do my 15 minutes and talk about dating, romancing, seducing, doing your eyebrows, whatever, you know. So it just kind of clicked to me pretty recently because I give this brand so much and there's something missing all the time. And I honestly couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Until recently, really weeks ago, did I figure it out. Because I'm not using all my stuff, right? Everything's there, and I'm living someone else's idea that we have to do one thing and do it well. And I frankly don't think modern people are like that anymore. It's been a long time since they were. And the whole concept of a Renaissance person sounds so hokey, but actually I think it's true. Many of us, especially creatives, you can do a lot. I mean, you're surprised. I mean, I can't not even believe that I designed that package, and I did. I can't believe that I work with chemists and do the formulations for these products. I mean, I turn out to be someone who has a natural affinity with chemistry. Who knew? You know, these things happen when you're out there. And whenever you try to listen to the little voice that tells you what you should do, or your professors that tell you what you need to do, and all that stuff, it's really not for everyone, especially not creatives. How did it all happen? I was born in Wisconsin, and I was raised in Florida, and then I moved to London. And then from London, I moved to New York, but New York is a place I call home. Because I moved to New York, I was around 19, right? So I came in like, okay. And I swear to God, it's something I've actually thought about it before. You know, vacation in the sun, your mind clears out, you lie in the sun, and then all of a sudden, like, thoughts from before come in, or weird thoughts come in. I was like, how did this happen? How did someone become Queen of the Night of Manhattan? Right? I mean, what? Like, I don't even know what that is. I mean, now I know what it is, but I didn't even know it existed. I knew there were people like, well, you know, It Girls, or Bianca Jagger, or, you know, Edie Sedgwick before her, or any kind of, you know, society dames, doms, whatever, dames. But I didn't understand what Queen of the Night was until it happened to me. I was extremely happy to be via London in Manhattan, where I could meet people that I was so excited about. And it wasn't just the people that were so famous. Like, everybody was this great story. You know, they were artists, musicians, writers, designers, all kinds of creatives, all in one place, and all really having this wish to make something happen. Everyone was doing this in the corner, being fabulous, all night long. And I was like, hey, let's dance. What are you wearing? Tell me something. I want to know all about you. So I was that girl who looked good, so you trusted her. I looked good, and you could see I wasn't a vampire, or I wasn't a dork. You could tell I wasn't a dork, probably more than now, but I wasn't a dork. And I was very interested in you. And people have said to me, well, you have I think that the reason how this Queen of the Night thing happened for you is that you make the person that you're talking to right then understand that they're the most important person in the world to you. Well, it's because it's true. Because I'm not talking to someone I don't want to talk to. and the person I want to talk to. I really have an excitement to know what you are all about with your stars and your ring and your blonde hair and your 2 ear bobs and like perfect teeth. Like, what is going on with you? And I mean it. And I think that it's honest. So you can't really fake that, because when you look someone in your eyes, you can't really fake that, because they'll clock. They'll see it. And I think that's how it happened. Moved into New York at the right time, positive attitude, lots of uppity things going on, high boobs, high hair, long lashes, lots of glamour, playful glamour, and I think a sense of humor, a sense of fun. And that turned me into Queen of the Night. Imagine a world where you went out every single night except Saturday and Sunday, right? Because people come in from out of town you didn't want to go out, so it wasn't seen. So you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday night, come home 5 o'clock, and you lock the door. With that, that meant if you were there and I was there, you were in the right place that night. Which is, I think, it's an easy way to suss it. And from there, all the doors opened. So I would say up until now, there are doors that are open from them. A lot of those people were hanging out outside and couldn't get in, but they knew who Dianne Brill was. My mannequin is called the Shape of the Decade, and we love that. And it was an unusual thing to do, or is an unusual thing to do, to take a mannequin with boobs, small waist, butt, not plus size, not regular model, just something else. Not exactly Sports Illustrated, but couture, high fashion, but fits in the same sizes, but. So it was a big thing that Adele Rubinstein decided to make that mannequin, and they do it like once every 10 years that they pick someone who represents a thing that they really like. And she was alive then, so it was really cool. And they sculpt you. We want to find something that represents you. And they said, Adele said to us, you represent someone, Dianne Brill makes an entrance. So we have to get you making an entrance. So I was like, out the door, in the door, out the door, in the door. So they finally found a pose that they liked. And then they had the pose, which was something, like this. And I held that pose for, whatever, 2 weeks. And they made it so the hands go like this and like this. Yeah, right? So they can do both hands like this and like that. And they cast parts and they sculpt others. And it was quite lucky for me to have that. When Marilyn, I always think, there's a famous thing when Marilyn Monroe's walking down the street. And so she walks down the street and she's like in casual clothing, like whatever, a little black something. She's walking down the street and no one is looking at her. She's still Marilyn Monroe, she's a beautiful girl, everything is right. And she's walking with a friend, a guy. Then he goes, it's amazing, you can just walk out and you seem to be able to integrate like that, it's amazing. And she said, oh really, watch this. And she changed her posture, chin up, got into the head, and started to walk again. And instantaneously, she's flooded with people. So I thought, that's so cool that we have that power inside of us to be able to attract. And that's what I like about writing, to put it all down. From there, I wrote a book. I have it, Boobs, Boys, and High Heels, or How to Get Dressed in Just Under 6 Hours. As I said earlier to you, I'm working on a second one. And the book was great because it really helped to define who I was then and how I see life at the same time. It was written to like my best friend, absolutely to my best friend. Dating, romancing, seducing, finding the you of the moment, understanding yourself inside and out, how to get the look, the whole thing, but from an insider, bringing everybody in. And it was, I think there's a lot of depth in the book. There are people that come to me and go, changed my life, with the book. So time to write another one. I think I was at a party and Thierry Mugler was, now Manfred Thierry Mugler, was in the audience around, and he saw me dancing and he'd heard about me. And he asked me to be in his first show, one of his shows. Not his first show, but my first show. And with that, we kind of just you know, meshed. Let's go to Japan. Oh no, are you kidding? For 3 days? When? Tomorrow. I did all of that, or special parties or whatever. And they wardrobed me from head to toe forever, for all that time. Walking in the shows gave me a hell of a lot of confidence. It was something I think every little person somewhere dreams of, what it would feel like to walk out there and just be like the prettiest girl in the world for those 2 seconds or a few minutes or whatever. And believe me, Thierry Mugler knows how to make you look like the most beautiful person in the world, and he did. Some say that when I was doing the runway with Mugler, that we could walk then in a way where we didn't have to do a standard walk like they do now, right? So there wasn't a right walk or a wrong walk. There were people that weren't good, like Claudia Schiffer, God bless her, she's a gorgeous girl, but she walked like a soldier. Clump, 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 clump. Iman and I would be like, what, you know, Claudia, you have to smooth it up a little, watch, you know, whatever. I mean, Naomi, brilliant, brilliant. Linda, gorgeous. I mean, all those girls are fantastic. And I had my walk too, and it worked, and I loved it. And every single show I got excited before I walked out. I would be like, okay, all right, okay. And then we'd be backstage and crazy things would happen. Like in Paris, sometimes you'd get, some of the French models were not as well paid and as well worked as the girls from other places, especially the US. And sometimes you'd get really things like bitchy, queeny things, like someone put pins in my shoes and in Jerry Hall's shoes. Yeah, so you go to put your shoes on and you get stabbed with the shoes. But you have to do this, remember, you're running against the clock. You don't have time to scream or something. You have to leave the shoe on. The shoe is on, you've got to go out. Normally the models are completely supportive and wonderful with each other. I was on the runway for Gaultier once, and it was a very tough time because as a muse for the House of Mugler, to do the Vivienne Westwood shows, to do the Gaultier shows, normally Thierry unofficially would meet with them, and sort of they'd have to go to the king and ask him if it's okay. So now I was there, my new boyfriend was in the audience, and Grace Jones was there, and all the glam girls and guys were there, including Jack Nicholson, who was in the front row, sitting with a lot of friends. So I'm walking down the runway, it's super high, it's a big racetrack kind of runway, and it's about 7 feet high, quite high. Photographers in the middle, photographers all around, and an audience of about 7,000 people. Now, I have this really great idea when I'm out there that I'm gonna just do a little more than usual. The light's going this way, that way, the other way. Boom, I am walking in the air over the runway, off the runway, like going down. Now it's Gaultier, high heels, like, you know, whatever. As I'm going down, you hear of like 7,000 people like screaming, you know, like what's gonna happen? Is she gonna like die? Like what's gonna happen? I hit the ground on my shoes, boom, I catch it down, I grab my knees, boom, I come up again, 9.5 in the air, and nothing happened to me. I was perfect. It was a perfect landing. It looked as if I jumped off the stage. And the guy I almost hit, of course, was Jack Nicholson. It was like I was this much from his lap. And the audience went, ah! And I felt, you know, like queen of everything. And it was really great. But it was like blessing, like you saw angels' hands going like this. How did that happen? How did that possibly happen? Boom, off the edge, like just boom, 9.5. That was an interesting time. The Vivienne Westwood shows were less interesting, but I was the bride, so that's always good. You know, give me a bouquet. Always ready for a bouquet. One time Mugler had me in the opera in Paris, and it was in a very high swing. Like it was supposed to be The Girl Can't Help It place. I'm in a bridal dress. There are lots of bubbles and balloons, and then I'm supposed to come down, and then I join him, and then we sort of walk off like husband and wife or whatever. Cute, right? In the meantime, the place is really high. It's an opera, so it's high, like Phantom of the Opera high, like very, very high. Yeah, super high. And I'm on a swing, no net. You're modeling, you don't think about things like that. You just go, great, okay, Terry, sure, sounds like fun. It seemed fun, right? Wedding dress, up in the air. So I get on it. So of course it's a French guy downstairs who doesn't speak English, and he's controlling my life with the lever to get me up to a certain point, then the music will start, the curtain will come up, and then I'll come down, right? So he's going up, 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 up. And then I realize the big, whatever they are, tungsten lights, I think they're called, the lights are like this big and super hot. It's getting closer and closer to me, right? So the light is about where it is now. And I'm like, stop, cut it down. Okay, stop the light. Nobody hears me. The music's going boom, boom. So at one point I go, all right, I'm gonna burn now. So I realized that I was gonna burn my face, and I was wearing a corset, so I decided to pull back to burn my stomach first, because I thought that'll buy me some time. I mean, I was in survival mode. My face would have been burnt, so I moved my head back like this, and then I thought, French. And I went, putain, arrête, arrête, like, you fucking slut, stop, stop. And then he went, huh, huh, and he stopped, like, just in time. And I swear to God, I was like this, like bench press. I was like this, out like that, yeah. And then what happens? The music comes up, and then I come down, and the bubbles. The girl can't help it. So, you know, the show must go on. Yeah, it was a very dangerous job, modeling. I'm sure they wouldn't do this anymore. I think they wouldn't take the risk. But it was fabulous. It was fabulous. Yeah. Keith's my baby. He's my boy. He's, you know, Keith is like the word. And everything you want to think what Keith would really be like, he really was. It's just like bright, sunny, positive, no brooding, dark artist, no dissatisfied person, just a genuine, fun-loving, life-loving, beautiful man. And much more pretty in real life than he was in photographs, and a killer body. Love Latin guys. And he was brilliant. So I was better friends with Keith. Of course, I knew Jean-Michel because we were all, Basquiat, because we were all from this group of me, Madonna, Andy, of course, was everywhere because he was before, and then he was in our scene too. But with Andy, I think Andy is quite fascinating as a person because Andy'd seen a lot. He was significantly older, but you don't feel that. You know, in the real scene, you don't really feel ages with people, I don't think. I mean, you may know intellectually he was whatever he was, but you didn't feel that distance that sometimes age creates. It wasn't there. We would work. He had me in, oh my God, I mean, he was doing TV then, so he had Andy Warhol TV, and I was on, you know, almost every episode or whatever. And we went out a lot, we hung out a lot. He bridged a lot of things for me, you know? He really sort of stamp of approval on me, and at the same time, he was taking a lot out of me, for sure. He was not a guy who, you know, just would mentor people or something, not at all. He wanted to be part of what I was part of or what I was leading at that time. And so what better way than to be with the Queen? It was the right thing. And for me, I mean, it was incredible. So, okay, dork story, but it's really true. It's like a little boy sometimes. It's just like, not like cute like a little boy, kind of like naughty like a little boy. So we'd go out, and we'd be like at a dinner with a lot of people, and he'd be next to me, and I'd feel like, you know, like under the table coming up. I'd be like, you know, what is it? And I'd look at it, like, Andy, you know, stop it. And he'd pretend like, oh, what? I don't know, what? What? You know, nothing. What? And he'd start talking about something else. And I'd feel, right? So eventually I figured out he thought that I was padded, that I was fake. So he was always like pushing me under the table to see if it was real or not, which is like hysterical. And I was with Raquel Welch, and we were in Mystique. And Mystique was really great. It was really great. And here we are with all the bosoms floating in the pool, and it was just a fantastic time. And we got a message that Andy had died. It was as if it were impossible for him to die, because he was such, I can't believe there isn't a permanent, I know there was a temporary, but a permanent Andy Warhol statue in Manhattan, because there really should be, because he was just part of the scape, you know? He was part of the landscape, just a presence there, nobody like him. He gave so much too, just kind of by being who he was. Sometimes he'd go out at night, and I swear to God, he'd say like almost nothing. People would come up to him, and he'd be like, "Great, great, oh boy, great." I swear to God, great, oh boy. And it's like all he would say the whole night. Really, the whole night. Not to me, but like in general. Then he said, you're at the wrong party if you're the best person there. I thought that was really funny. Yeah.